I don't know if you ever took cold showers, but I enjoyed a lot, and I want to just fill in a little bit about the benefits. And for those of you which probably now think, "Oh, this idiot, why he's being poor and he can't afford a hot shower, and I can just shower warm and enjoy it." Instead, it's just a thing about like, oh, cold and warm is not such a big of a difference. And there is actually a difference. I'm taking showers now since 2017 I started. I was reading a lot about Wim Hof and his cold adaptation method. And I was thinking about doing cold showers, but I never really got to it. But then 2017, yeah, since then I took hot showers, and it was almost impossible for me to take a cold shower. It was just so excruciatingly uncomfortable that I didn't really want to do it. And in 2017, I then took the first cold shower since a long, long time, and just jumped under it and just turned myself around so that I get cold water in the front and in the back. Then don't just keep standing. But then after doing this for 3 days, I got used to it. It was just, oh, this refreshing feeling. But it then this cold shock then went over to like, oh, this is only just refreshing. It's cold. It's not. I'm not shivering. I'm not feeling very uncomfortable anymore. Then the skin is not hurting. It's not painful or anything. And yeah, to the benefits, there are a lot of benefits that people say. It's that your immune system gets stressed, so when you are healthy, I encourage you to try a cold shower, a cold bath. But if you have a cold, then it's maybe not such a good idea. You want to get healthy fast and then start with stuff like that. But if you have a good health and you want to try it, then feel free and go ahead. And that little stress is stressing your immune system, but it's also bringing your I think it was the white, or was it the yellow fat cells, the ones that produce heat. It's training them to warm up your body and to train, and they actually produce heat directly out of fat. So you also can use it to lose weight. I myself, I have no problem with overweight, and I think I'm not showering long enough to have a big effect in this direction. But who knows? Someone that wants to do this. I think Michael Phelps has his diet with, I don't know, 10,000 or 30,000 calories. So he's eating like 3 or 10 times as much as an old person when he has training days, and just that's mainly not because he's moving so much. I mean, compared to other sportlers, he's doing just a lot of work, but not 10 times as much as them. But it's because he's in the water all the time, and this cools down his body, and his body then has to generate heat, and this thermogenesis effect uses a lot of calories. So if you want to lose some weight, there was, I think in the book, the 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss, he recommended putting an ice pack on the top of your neck for some time. I don't know, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, until it's uncomfortable. And this will train the cells to burn fat and heat up your body. So when you do cold showers, you have this effect. But for me, like, the most profound effect was that I disconnected the feeling from cold to illness. Maybe my immune system was not trained at all. I couldn't really deal, or it was just shocked by some cold therapy too fast, so that when I was going out in the cold and I was freezing, and I was feeling cold, then directly my immune system went down, and I connected this with illness, and I got a cold. But after taking cold showers, I knew that, oh, okay, like I can stand in a cold and be completely fine. And even if it's minus 10 degrees outside, if I don't run around for an hour, it's completely fine to just walk around for half an hour. I know the difference between feeling the cold and being actually cold. And there's definitely a threshold in between, and until you're not really freezing, you're just uncomfortable cold, not mortally cold, or how you would say this. You can stand this and enjoy and do other things. Just worry about your hands being a little bit stiff, but it won't need to mean that you will get ill. And this connection to dissolve it lead me to enjoy it more when it's cold. I don't have to be afraid that I will have a running nose or getting a cough or a rough sore throat afterwards. I can just enjoy the freshness of the air and feel good when I go back into some nice warm house. I don't have to worry about that. Also, last winter we had minus 10 degrees, minus 12 degrees, and I was just wearing like a sweater and my rain jacket on top, so I didn't have any winter gear. I just had my fedora hat and some leather gloves that I had, some thin leather gloves that were mostly aesthetic. They don't really hold much temperature. And that was enough for minus 10, minus 12 degrees. I wasn't outside that much too, so I don't know, when it's like half an hour, 1, 2, 3 hours, that's completely fine. And in between work, for example, when I was going to the supermarket, that's maybe 10 minutes away, I was just having not even the sweater, I just had my dress shirt with an undershirt under it, so like no heat insulation at all. And I would go like that to the supermarket, enjoy the freshness, warm up a little bit in the supermarket, and then go back without any big problems. Problem I was actually stopped by the police in the park, and they were just wondering why I'm running around without any jacket. But I don't know, maybe they were just bored. They were just curious. They were just in their big jackets, and they had a hat on, a beanie on, and a scarf, and they were like, oh, so cold. And I was there, hey, good morning. I'm just going to the supermarket. So that's a very interesting feeling if you can really disconnect those things and enjoy the cold for what it is. You don't have to fear it. And of course, your health will probably improve. Mine improved. I haven't had a big cold in a long time. I remember, when was it? Beginning of 2018, the whole company, everyone was getting ill after another. And I was going up to Castle Neuschwanstein. That was when I was in the south of Bavaria. And I was just wearing my sweater and a jacket, and it was minus 10 degrees. And I was walking all around the castle and climbing up the hills. So I was probably moving around for 3 hours. And when I came back, it felt really, really cold. So I was having maybe mild hypothermia, so undercooling. So I felt that, so I put on all the heat, and the next day I felt a little bit ill, so just a little bit weak, a little bit coughing. And then on Monday I was worried, should I go to work? And it's good enough. I was coughing, so I just stopped on the way to work in the supermarket. I got some salbei bonbons for eating, for the throat, to calm it down, and got like a pack of tea. and then over the workday I just drank tea all the time, had some coughing, and then it was fine. So that was the illness for me, and pretty much almost everyone else in the company was at least 2 or 3 days away from work. Maybe they were smarter. Maybe they said, oh nice, I have a good reason to skip work. But I think a lot of them were actually had runny nose and were coughing all the time and had like the scarf around your head and were completely miserable. And I would just probably accredit my survival there to taking cold showers and being able to enjoy the cold. So my recommendation, definitely try, maybe if you have a hot shower at the end, try ending with cold and until it, I don't know, just do it for 2 or 3 minutes, just under 10 degrees. If it's too uncomfortable, you could do like cranking up the heat so much that it's uncomfortable and then go to cold, because then you have like a bigger difference and your body is shutting down, like contracting the little capillaries faster, and you then don't feel the cold so much. And on top of that, the cold is also cooling down your overheated skin, which then also feels refreshing. So you can try that. And otherwise, going from warm to cold, just a few minutes cold and then going back to warming up. But definitely I would recommend against just starting with your feet and walking up to legs and then your belly and then your shoulders. This is just torture. Just get it done. If you want to take a cold shower and even if you just stand under it, and then after a few seconds it will be fine. Be careful definitely with your head. I still, when I put my head under it in the beginning, it can get a little bit like the brain freeze, and you should definitely be careful with that. Just put it on your shoulders or something, the water, and it's completely fine. Just enjoy it. Stand through the first 3, 4, 5 showers, and maybe then what I maybe want to do someday also is going over with ice baths and other trainings, but for daily day activities, an ice bath is pretty impractical. I'm here, there's no way to have an ice bath available all the time, and doing a weekly one, I don't know. Yeah, so that's for cold showers. Maybe you want to try it too, and if you have any idea or question, just leave in the comments, and I don't know, leave a like or something. Okay.